There is something very strange about calm people. They don't rush to speak, they don't argue loudly, they don't try to dominate every conversation. And because of that, most people assume they are weak. But here's the interesting part: if you observe closely, the calmest person in the room is eventually the one everyone listens to. Not the loudest person, not the most aggressive one, the calm one. Because calmness is not the absence of power, calmness is controlled power. And once you start noticing this, you will start seeing it everywhere. Hello guys, my name is Vansha and welcome back to my channel. On this channel, we talk about self-growth, psychology, mindset and becoming mentally stronger. And today we are talking about something that completely changed the way I understand power. Not loud power, not aggressive power, no, but quiet power. But before we get deeper into this, I want to share something honest with you. I was not always a calm person. In fact, I was the complete opposite. I was extremely reactive. If something upset me, I used to react immediately. If someone challenged me, I felt the need to defend myself, and many times I said things in the moment that I regretted later. Most of us have experienced something like that. But something happened one day that changed the way I see power differently. Okay, so I was in this room where many people were discussing something important. Everyone had their opinion. People were interrupting each other. Some were arguing, some were trying to prove everyone that they are right. And in the middle of all the chaos, there was this one person who was sitting there quietly, not interrupting anyone. They weren't reacting emotionally, they were just observing. At first, I thought that this person is not interested and they are not participating. But when the discussion slowed down, that person spoke, and everyone in that room listened. Not because they were loud, but because they were calm. And that moment, I realized something so powerful: calmness creates authority. But here's the problem: we live in a world where noise is mistaken for confidence. The person speaking the loudest appears confident. The person reacting the fastest appears passionate. The person arguing the most appears dominant. But emotional reactions are easy. Anyone can lose their temper. Anyone can shout. Anyone can react impulsively. But staying calm is much harder. Because calmness requires discipline, it requires emotional control, it requires self awareness. And this is where most people make a mistake. They think calm people are weak, when in reality, calm people simply don't waste their energy trying to please everyone. Now, calm people have this hidden advantage, and this is the interesting part, that they are far more observant than reactive people. While everyone is busy reacting, they are watching. They notice how people behave under pressure. They notice who respects others and who pretends to respect others. They notice patterns most people miss. And slowly, those observations turn into something powerful: insight. And insight is power. Because when you truly understand people, you stop reacting blindly. you start responding intelligently. And here's something even more fascinating. There is actually psychological reason calm people appear powerful. Humans naturally trust people who remain emotionally stable. When someone is always calm in difficult situations, our brain automatically assumes that they are under control. And that's why highly successful people or the people who are at the top of their game are usually the ones that are the calm ones, because calmness is strength. Another advantage is that calm people preserve their energy. They don't just go and try to prove themselves, prove their worth, try to win arguments. Instead, they try to win in their life. They focus on winning in life and they invest that energy, and that's why they end up being successful, because they are not trying to win every argument. Their self worth comes from within. At some point in life, many people reach a turning point. You become tired of reacting emotionally. You realize arguments rarely change anything. You realize explaining yourself is exhausting, and you start to observe more. You start to speak less. You start to protect your peace. And when this shift happens, something interesting happens in your life. So, what basically happens when you become calm is three powerful changes. First, your thinking improves. When emotions are high, clarity disappears. But calm minds make better decisions. Second, people begin respecting you differently. Not because you demanded respect, but because self control commands respect. And third, you become much harder to manipulate, because people quickly realize they cannot provoke you easily. And when someone can't provoke you, they cannot control you. You know why calm people are so dangerous to underestimate? Because calm people move quietly, they improve quietly, they work quietly. For a long time, it looks like nothing is happening, but slowly, progress begins to show, results begin to appear, and suddenly, the same people who once underestimated them start paying attention. But by then, the calm person has already moved ahead in their life. But here's the good news: calmness is not something only a few people are born with. It is a skill, and like any skill, it can be practiced. So, first things first, you need to learn to pause. Most regrets happen in the first few seconds of anger. A small pause can completely change your response. Second, observe instead of reacting. Not every comment deserves your energy. Sometimes silence is the strongest response. Third, build internal confidence. When your self worth comes from within, you don't feel the need to go and prove yourself. And finally, focus on your growth, because when your life is focused on improvement, many small conflicts stop feeling important. The loudest person in the room is rarely the strongest. The strongest person is usually the calm one, the one who observes everything, the one who speaks carefully, the one who never rushes to prove anything. And if you are someone who is learning to stay calm, learning to control your reactions, and choosing quiet progress over loud attention, don't worry if people underestimate you. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is to stay calm and keep moving forward. If this video changed the way you see calmness, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because here we talk about psychology, self mastery, and becoming mentally stronger. And if you watched till end, comment one word: calm. I'd love to see how many calm minds are watching this. And I'll see you in the next video.